My husband James and I are both in our late 30s. James is 3 years older than I am. We've been married for 5 years and don't have any children. We went to the same college but studied different subjects, and we met in a society there. I came from a fairly well-off, stable family, so my college days were quite a good time for me. I had quite an easygoing, active personality. It's a bit embarrassing to say this, but I was called Queen Alana by my friends. I laughed, messed about, played, and studied hard. I had a lot of friends as well. You'll hear more about this later, but a lot of the guys in my class and society liked me at one time or another. It wasn't because I was particularly pretty, but because I had the kind of personality that made it easy for anyone to become friends with. However, at that time, I had a boyfriend who had been dating since high school. This boy and his family went to the same church as mine and had been close since a young age, but we decided that we liked each other in that way and started dating in my second year of high school. When I went to college and he studied to retake his college entrance exams, we couldn't really date very often, but we met each other at church every week and saw each other in passing as well as we lived in the same neighborhood. This is why I said that I was touched that they felt that way about me, but that I had a boyfriend to all the guys that tried to ask me out at that time and was able to get past it all, staying as good friends. There was just one guy, my now husband, James, who used to follow me around everywhere. He transferred to my major when I was in my second year of college, and he says that he fell for me after seeing me at one of the many drinking parties that happened at the beginning of the school year. And as I said before, he just wouldn't give up on me. No matter how many times I told him I had a boyfriend, he wouldn't listen. It was no use. At that time, my boyfriend started college and was really busy with this and that, getting settled into his new life as a college student. So we hardly saw each other. He had no reason to meet anyone from my college, so my now husband just thought that I was lying about having a boyfriend to try to get rid of him. I always studied and played hard at college, going to this event and that, and James always used to follow me wherever I went, getting jealous of anyone else sat next to me and acting like I was his girlfriend even though I wasn't. When the two of us were alone together, on the other hand, he couldn't even look me in the eye. It was like a mental illness. He was obsessed with me. I even took a break from college once, as him following me around like that all the time was scary and annoying. But he would still send letters, call, and email every day. It was really ridiculous. Up until then, I'd never even really thought of James as a man even. But I can't really remember exactly how it happened, as it was such a long time ago now, but I ended up drifting apart from my boyfriend at the time, as we were both busy with our new lives, and my family ended up moving house because of a problem that arose in my dad's business, so we no longer even went to the same church. We ended up not seeing each other at all for about 5 or 6 months, and then formally broke up with each other after that. Our family were having a rough time of it, and I had broken up with my boyfriend, so I really didn't have the time or the patience for James's attempts at gaining my affections. I was also more of the type to see guys casually rather than actually dating someone from my college. I then started getting close to a guy that had also transferred late to my course, and we decided that we had feelings for each other. When James realized what had happened, he was really distressed. He didn't come to school or eat or anything, and he also had a fist fight with that guy. It was a nightmare. Even though it happened such a long time ago, talking about it now, I feel the exact same confusion and awkwardness as I felt when it was actually happening to me. I started acting more and more badly toward James as time went on. I don't mean that I spent his money or made him do things for me or anything like that. I just wouldn't meet his eyes. I'd glare at him so he couldn't come near me and make sure not to go anywhere near him. If I went to an event or something and he happened to be there, I just ended up leaving. I really, really hated him. One day, the shop that my parents were running just went bust. The economy wasn't good, so not many people were coming to spend money, and Dad not sorting the surety properly didn't help. It was bad enough for the three of us to have to move into a tiny little single-room apartment. I paused my studies and got a part-time job to try to help my parents out of this mess, so I was really busy as well. In the midst of all of this chaos, Mama ended up having a stroke, so I was laid up in bed. Dad tried working at a construction site to get some extra money and got injured. Anyway, I seem to have spent most of my 20s trying to pay for my parents' medical bills. You don't need to know any more than that, I don't think. I ended up not graduating college and working as a private tutor just to get by. My father passed away, and 2 years after that, my mother followed him. My old college friends all rallied around me and helped me out. They were all a huge strength to me through it all. James, in particular, went out of his way to help me out and did a lot of the work in helping to sort out all the practicalities and things that needed to be done. Before they died, they had a lot of debt, you see, so their siblings had pretty much cut off their relationship with my parents, and as I was also an only child, I was all alone. In time, I pulled myself together and started working hard again, finally graduating from college, attending alumni events, and living life the best I could, thanks to the help of my friends and professors. Lots of my friends came to my graduation. At the party that night, when it was already late and most of my friends had already left, James asked me if I would go out with him once again. I told him that I'd think about it and went home. At that time, I had nothing at all, and James, on the other hand, was successfully running his own business. When we next met, I told him that I couldn't, but he asked what the problem was, crying and telling me that he knew how hard I had it and that I must know by now how much he loved me. I ended up crying with him. Friends who knew the both of us also told me that they had never seen someone who had loved and taken care of the same person for so long at our age, and reassured me that I would be making the right decision being with him and that we would both be very happy together. James said that if we married, I only needed to bring myself, that I didn't have to worry about money or anything like that, and he would take care of everything. James's family were a bit against us marrying in the beginning, but James got some expensive gifts for them as if they were for me, and they gave permission for us to marry. I was just having such a hard time and was so tired of everything at the same time, and I think I was just grateful that someone would like me for as long as James had. We still laugh about it when we go out with friends. Little strokes fell great oaks. My agreeing to be his wife was the fruit of 10 years of unrequited love. Everyone calls him a fool, and then all start laughing. But that man changed from the moment we got married.
Alana, shall we Netflix and chill tonight? We haven't done it for a while now, have we? I've already washed and cleaned my teeth, so you don't have to bother, it's fine. Let's just get on with it now.
I'm really tired tonight. I just want to go to sleep.
You're gonna go to sleep already? Is your work that tiring?
It's 11:30 already, isn't it? I usually sleep at 11.
Don't you think that you're being a bit much? Why do you keep trying to avoid me like this?
It's you that can't control yourself. You keep swearing at me and saying things I'd never dream of saying right at the most important moment, don't you?
What? Who? Me? I've never done such a thing.
I was really taken aback at the beginning, so I just tried to ignore it for the first couple of times, but you do it every single time.
What do you mean?
You always said that you really love me. What have I done to you? You call me an evil witch and all sorts of other things that I can't even bear to repeat.
I did? To you? I can't have.
Don't lie and say you've never said anything like that when we both know it's the truth. You're so bad at lying, you know? I can tell every time. I don't even know why you're bothered trying.
To be honest, if you say things like that, it just makes me more excited, you see?
Well, I hate it, so don't do it. If you keep saying things like that to me, I won't give you what you want, okay?
But we're married.
Yes, we are, but I'm not a toy for you to use however you feel like.
Have you thought any more about what you said? You know, about quitting your job, I mean?
I've worked there for 7 years. How can I just suddenly quit? I still have to pay off Mom and Dad's hospital bills and debt.
I told you I'll sort all of that out.
No, I don't want you to. It's something that I have to do. Anyway, I'm good at what I do and I enjoy it and I keep getting praised for what a good job I'm doing too. I don't want to quit.
I know that you're good at it, of course I do. If you want to keep working, why don't you just come and work in my company then?
What would I even do if I was to join your company? The field is completely different.
You can already speak French and German really well, can't you? I'm sure it wouldn't take long for you to learn Spanish as well. You could study Spanish and then you could help me look after the company. Oh, it'll be great.
You already have 2 professional interpreters. Why would you need me as well? I really like my job and company at the moment anyway. I get a bit busy sometimes, but I make a lot of money, don't I?
To be honest, I would be happier if you were to quit your job. We would still have plenty of money even if you stopped working. When are you going to have a baby? I don't think you're taking any of your responsibilities as a wife seriously.
The child care leave in the place I work at the moment is really good, and when I get pregnant, I can even work from home. Apart from being a bit busy, it's a really good place to work and has all the benefits I could want. Why do you keep telling me to quit? Did you realize that you stressing me out like this all the time is making my hair fall out?
Are you sure it isn't falling out because you're so busy at work?
Stop it now. I'm not going to quit my job, so I'd appreciate it if you stopped asking me to. James, I'm back from work. Oh, what's in that box? Did you go to the department store today?
No, it's a present for you. I thought of you as I was passing the department store, so I went in and I got it for you.
How did you manage to choose something as pretty as this? Oh, this is really expensive. I'm grateful. Of course I am, but aren't you spending a bit too much on me?
I signed a big contract at work today. I can afford to get you this.
Oh, really? Well done, that's great.
I know, right? So why don't you just quit work and help me instead? Then you can support me a bit more at home as well.
Why are you going on about that again? You only bought me that present to try and make me quit work, didn't you? I told you before, I'm not going to quit. Please stop going on about it now.
To be honest, anyone can do your job, can't they? It's nothing special. I don't see why you're so set on doing it.
Why do you keep on interfering and turning your nose up at my job? If you're going to be like this, you're just a tradesman, aren't you? Listening to me talking about your job, that makes you feel bad, doesn't it? This is how I feel when you talk about my job like that. It makes me feel really stressed and tired.
If you'd quit, it would be better for both you and me. I don't understand why you're being so stubborn about it. If you quit your job, I'll buy you whatever you want. And if you have a baby, I'll get you both a babysitter and a housekeeper. I'll do whatever you want.
Just stop talking about it now. I've had enough. I'm going to have a shower. I don't want to hear you talking about this again. Listening to my story up until now, you might think that I'm lucky and living an easy life with James. I don't know exactly when it started, but James started looking down on my job and belittling me for it. It got much worse after his company started doing better. I worked really hard and prepared for a long time to get into the company I'm working for now. These days, women don't have to just live to do the housework and support their husbands anymore, do they? Also, I had been taught by my mom from a young age that women should have a job as well. My husband started going on at me about this more and more. And in the end, I gave up. Rather than give up, I pretended to give up. That's it.
What time are you finishing work tonight?
I'm not sure, really. I think I'm going to have to work overtime.
See, I told you it would be better for you to hurry up and quit working there, didn't I? How can they make you work overtime every night like this?
What do you mean every day? This is the first time I've worked overtime this month.
I was planning to take you out for dinner when you got back, you know? What am I gonna do now?
Well, we could go out for dinner tomorrow instead, couldn't we? It's not a big problem.
My wish isn't for world peace. It's for you to quit your job.
Why are you being so childish? I need to get back to work. I'm not going to talk to you about this anymore.
When are you going to quit your job?
Why do you keep going on about this? I'm really busy. Stop messaging me about this. I told you I am not going to quit.
I'm not a widower or anything. Why do I have to go home to an empty house every night? I hate it.
What are you talking about now? I finished before you yesterday, didn't I? Stop talking rubbish and get back to work. You must have a lot of free time going on at me like this all the time.
Alana, are you working?
I've gone to work, so of course I'm working.
I asked my mom, and she thinks it would be a great idea for you to quit your job too.
Why did you ask your mom about that? What does me quitting my job or not have to do with your mom?
Of course it matters to her. Why wouldn't it? I asked her to talk to you for me because you're being so stubborn recently. I did well, didn't I?
I told you not to talk to me about things like this while I was at work, didn't I? Don't talk to your mom about me like that either. The stress you're causing me is making all of my hair fall out.
That's why you should quit your job.
Okay, I'll quit. Are you satisfied? Stop messaging me now. Let's talk about it when I get home.
Alana, is that you? You said you were going to quit your job today. Did you really do it?
I told my boss. Do you really hate me working that much?
It's not that I hate you working. I just don't like that you're working so hard and you're so stressed all of the time. You don't need to work. Why are you putting yourself through all of that for no reason? Don't you think it looks really nice when a husband and wife have a company together? You could stay at home for a while, get some rest, and get ready to have a baby now.
What are all those books on the table for?
Oh, those. Well, if you're gonna come work in my company, there will be a lot of things that you don't know, won't there? I bought some books to help you with that, you see. They're books about business and Spanish.
I don't have any intention of learning Spanish, though. It isn't even a good fit for me. My major was totally different from business as well. I don't want to study it.
Who studies French these days? Spanish is a lot more popular. It's really useful in business as well.
I've studied enough. I don't want to study anymore. When you get over 30, starting to study a totally new subject is really difficult.
Even so, if you want to go into business with me, you have to study it. Why don't you at least give it a try before you say that you don't want to do it? When are you finishing your job anyway?
Well, HR have to find someone to replace me before I can quit, don't they? Then I need to train them.
What does that have to do with you? That's their problem, isn't it? Surely you can leave when they find someone to replace you. Why should you have to train them?
Oh, stop talking rubbish. Of course my responsibility to train my replacement. Who else is going to do it? Just imagine that someone was leaving your company. You'd want them to train the new person before they left as well, wouldn't you?
What? My company and yours are totally different, aren't they? Anyway, I'm glad that you're quitting.
What's different about them? At the end of the day, training your replacement up before you leave is the right thing to do. You know that, too. You're just being awkward on purpose.
So, you're saying that you aren't gonna study? I bought all those books for you.
Why do I need to study? I haven't even finished in my current workplace yet. You want me to study all of this and help you out at your company?
No, I mean, never mind. Go and get some rest now. You must be tired.
To tell the truth, I hadn't quit my job. I just told them that I wanted to rest for 3 months because I wasn't in very good health. I was getting really fed up with James going on about it all the time, and it was starting to make me feel ill from the stress of it all. I started to get suspicious of James looking down on my job so easily and treating me the way that he was. I know that I was wrong lying and hiding things from him like I did, but because he wouldn't stop going on about it, I didn't feel like I had a choice when I really didn't want to leave my job like he wanted me to. When I stopped going to work, James gave all his cards and everything to me and started treating me really well, so there was no need for the two of us to fight. It actually made me feel bad for lying to him. We got on well like that for a few weeks, but then James started showing his true colors.
Oh, it is so nice having you home when I get back from work, you know? Breakfast was amazing, too.
You really like me staying at home that much, do you? I like it that we don't have anything to fight about anymore.
That's true, Alana. I've just opened the fridge door and it is not good, you know?
What do you mean? I didn't clean it that long ago.
There's that, but when I looked on top of it, there was a load of dust and there's hardly any fruit in it either. Why is that all you've bought? Vitamins are important for your body, you know?
We have apples, a melon, and some bananas. How is that not enough?
I would like it if there were at least 6 kinds of fruit at a time. They have to be fresh too, so you'll have to go to the market regularly and get a little at a time. You know that, right? I've given you all the cards and you're home anyway, so that's the least that I can ask for, right? You can do that for me, can't you? Oh yes, and I almost forgot. It was hard for you to do all the washing, wasn't it? I've ordered another dryer. From now on, don't leave the washing to mount up, but do it every day. And the quilts get really dusty, so you can put them in the dryer every day as well.
You want me to wash all of the bedding and the quilts every day? How can you wash bedding every day? It's fine to just wash it once a week.
That's why I bought you an extra dryer, isn't it? So that you could do it more easily. When I went to the shop to order it today, the employee said it was the first time that she'd ever seen a husband like me, and she was really jealous. I even bought you another dryer to make it easier for you. Can't you even wash the bedding for me in your free time?
Why did you buy an extra dryer without even discussing it with me first? Who needs 2 dryers anyway? We don't even have a child, it's just the 2 of us. Having 2 dryers is just a complete waste of money.
I make enough money for it. What does it matter if we have an extra dryer? If you say what you just said to me to anyone else, they won't be happy. They would say that you should consider yourself lucky. I only got you 2 dryers because I thought it would be difficult for you to wash all the bedding every day without it. You should be grateful. Why are you getting so annoyed about it and trying to start a fight?
James, why are you staring at the fridge like that? Recently, it seems to be the first thing you do when you get home from work. You get home and open the fridge.
There are a lot of things in there that I need to check, that's why. Why haven't you put any labels on the side dishes? I told you to write the dates on them, didn't I?
I ran out of labels, so I was going to go and get some tomorrow. Sorry.
You aren't hiding any flavorings or anything in the food, are you?
You said you really hated artificial flavorings and things like that, so I don't use them. You know that. Why are you suddenly asking me?
Yes, I really hate them. If you look on YouTube, there are lots of videos about clean eating and things like that. Why don't you try following them and making something different? You always make the same few things, and to be honest, I'm getting a bit fed up with it.
Okay, I'll try to make something different.
Why do you keep ordering meal subscriptions like this? Do you really need to get so many? I was surprised when I got a message saying how many you'd ordered today. Why are you ordering so many?
What do you mean? I only ordered the same as I normally do.
I keep getting surprised by what you're buying even when I'm at work. Why are you spending so much money?
I'm just buying enough for the 2 of us to eat, that's all. That's how much it costs for us to eat. You told me I had to make sure that there was always 6 kinds of fruit in the fridge too, didn't you? Do you realize how expensive fruit is these days?
Are you keeping a household ledger?
Why do I have to do that? I don't like them. You have the messages from the card company anyway. There are apps that do it all automatically for you these days as well.
You're only spending money like that because you aren't keeping a record of what you're spending, you know? You're spending an awful lot of money on gas too. You aren't even working anymore, so do you really have to use the car that much? Walking would be so much better for your health, you know?
We aren't short of money or anything. Why do I have to think before driving somewhere?
Why don't you go back to college or something then? Not stay at home all the time.
Go back to college? At my age?
You could study trade or economics. Then you could help at my company.
Why do I have to do that? You were going on about vacations abroad and house help to try to make me quit my job. And now that I have, all you do is interfere in everything I do. Is that why you really made me quit?
I wasn't planning to say these things to you, but what do you actually do at home all the time? You eat, sleep, spend less than an hour making food, and spend all of my money. That's all you seem to be doing. To be honest, I am quite disappointed in how you've acted for the last few weeks. I thought that you would look after yourself and the house and everything really well, but the house is a mess. I didn't realize that you would drop everything and mess everything up like that just because I told you to get some rest for a while.
What have I messed up? I don't know what you're talking about. All I have done is try to do everything that you've asked me to do. You've gone too far this time. If you aren't satisfied with me being at home and spending your money anyway, I'll go back to the job that I loved and was good at then. There are a lot of places that I can work.
Do you think that going to work and making money is easy? You stay at home. I don't want you to go to work again.
Have you forgotten already? I worked and made money for over 7 years. I only quit because you were making a huge fuss about it and making my life a misery because I wouldn't.
Enough. You just keep doing what you're doing then. You can cook and maybe learn how to look after the house a little bit better, because to be honest, you aren't very good at the moment. You can learn so much on YouTube now these days, you know? Oh, and from now on, I want you to write a household ledger, attach receipts to it, and show me at the end of each month. You know that I'm a qualified accountant too, don't you? I'm gonna go through it with a fine-tooth comb, so you'd better do it properly.
I think I'm just going to go back to work. I don't want to stay at home doing everything you want me to do for the rest of my life.
What do you mean? We had an agreement, didn't we? You can't just suddenly decide that you're gonna go back to work again.
An agreement? That's what you're calling it, is it? You keep going on about me quitting my job so much that I got fed up of hearing it and quit to make you stop going on about it. That's all. I definitely wouldn't call that an agreement.
You said that you'd quit though, didn't you? That's an agreement. I've had enough of this now. I think you'd better clean the floor. There are hairs everywhere.
I only vacuumed about an hour ago. There might be the odd hair, but that's just expected when there are people living in the house, surely. That's why I said that we should get a robot vacuum cleaner, you see, but you said you didn't want to, didn't you?
A robot vacuum seems like a bit of a cop-out to me. I think vacuuming should be done properly by an actual person. I don't trust robots to do a good job of things like that. Now that you're thinking about it, you can vacuum the floor again. I think it would be better if you wore your hair up as well. I keep finding it everywhere, you know? Oh, and one more thing.
What now?
I think that we should get rid of our dishwasher as well.
We use it all the time. Why do you suddenly want to get rid of it?
You're staying at home to do the housework and stuff now. Why would we possibly need a dishwasher? I don't agree with machines doing things like that anyway. I don't trust them. Doing things like that by hand is much better and makes the dishes so much cleaner. From now on, I want you to do the washing up properly by hand.
Dishwashers make the dishes even cleaner than they get when you wash them by hand these days. They use a lot less detergent as well. Why do we have to get rid of something that we use all the time and that does its job as good and as efficiently as our dishwasher does?
You hardly have anything to do now anyway. Why are you making such a fuss about washing a few dishes? If you rinse them a few more times, I'm sure they'll be cleaner than the dishwasher could ever make them. I'll call the engineer and get him to get rid of it for us, so you don't need to worry about anything. Okay, so there's no reason you can't wash the dishes by hand, is there? You can do this for me.
I still don't think it's a very good idea, you know.
I work hard in my office all day long. This is the least that you can do for me, Shirley. I feel a bit hurt that you won't even wash a few dishes by hand for me, you know? We lived fine before we bought the dishwasher. There's no reason that we can't live without it now, is there?
Okay, just stop going on and on about it.
Alana, make sure that you're home at 2 p.m. tomorrow, okay? And don't forget to answer the phone if someone calls you.
Why? What's happening at 2 p.m.?
A second-hand car dealer is gonna come and take a look at the car. He said he'd come at 2 p.m. to give us a quote, you see?
My car? I bought that car. Why are you trying to sell it without even talking to me about it first? I have no intention of selling it.
You're just messing around at home all the time. What on earth do you need a car for? If you really need to go somewhere, you can take a taxi, can't you? I gave you my card.
I can't take any more of this. We need to talk.
I'm busy at work at the moment. I don't have time to talk to you. What do you want to talk about anyway?
I can't live like this anymore. I am going to go back to work.
You're gonna go on about that again, are you? What do you need to go to work for? Just stay at home, do the housework, and get pregnant or something. I'm letting you do nothing at home. What do you have to complain about? You're living a life of luxury others would be really jealous about.
A life of luxury? You really do talk rubbish sometimes, don't you? I make you dinner and clean the house. You're always checking up on me, and now even want me to give you the receipts showing you each and everything that I've spent money on? It's like you're spying on me. You want to know everything I'm doing and everywhere I'm going. Now you're even trying to sell the car that I bought with money that I'd earned myself without even asking me first.
I told you, didn't I? The dealer is coming tomorrow to give us a quote on your car.
That is not asking me, is it? It's telling me. You only told me that because the car is in my name, so if you really wanted to sell it, you didn't have a choice but to tell me what you were trying to do. If it was in your name, you would have just sold it without even saying a word to me. I know you would.
You mess around at home all day long. What do you possibly need a car for? Why are you being so stubborn and making things so hard for me? I am so busy and tired anyway, working all day like I do.
That's why I'm going to go back to work too. You're only being like this with me because you're working and I'm not. So I'm going to go back to work as well. I can't stand to live like this a minute longer. Tell me the truth. The real reason you wanted me to quit my job was so you could treat me like this, wasn't it?
If I was you, I'd be so grateful to my husband for not making me work that I'd really be good to him. I'm letting you stay at home and do nothing, and this is what I get. You can get a taxi if you want to go anywhere. I don't see what all the fuss is about.
I'd have to pay for that with your car too, wouldn't I? So you could see everywhere I was going? You want to know everything that I'm doing, and that's why you want me to get rid of my car and make me take a taxi with your card all the time. Checking up on everything I do at home and every single thing that I spend money on is not enough. Now you want to know every little place I go to as well?
What are you going on about? Is a husband knowing where his wife goes so wrong? How is that spying? You're being so ridiculous right now.
You're being controlling, and I'm not having it. I told you I can't live like this anymore.
That is enough. Go study like I told you to. I've ordered some vitamins for people who are trying to get pregnant, so make sure you take them properly.
I have no intention of having a baby with you.
If you're not even gonna get pregnant, what's the point of you being at home all the time? You don't want to study, you don't want a baby, you don't want to write down a household ledger. What is wrong with you? You've put a lot of weight on recently too. You'd better go on a diet. I really hate to see girls just lazing around at home all day.
Well, I'm not going to be staying at home anymore, so you don't need to worry about that, and you don't need to sell my car. I'm going back to work.
You've just been a housewife for a few months and you've already gotten how the world works? I see. Who's gonna want to employ you anyway?
I can just go back to my old job. It's not a problem. The person who replaced me didn't settle in well, so has to quit, you see. They called me the other day, as it happens, wanting to know if I had any intention of coming back to work.
No way, you're just trying to go back to work. I'm not having it. If you go back to work, you're asking for a divorce. I'm not just gonna take it lying down. Why don't you just stay at home and do the housework like you've been doing?
That's a great idea. It's just what I was hoping for, in fact. I'll just go back to work and get a divorce. That seems like the best thing to do. Staying at home for the last few months has taught me that what my mom said is true. Women need to work as well. It also showed me that my first impression of you was right. You're a split personality psychopath. I should have never agreed to marry you.
Divorce? You're having a laugh. Do you think getting a divorce is as easy as that? What have you done that's so great that you want to divorce me?
I have still kept the messages you sent me over and over again, day and night, telling me to quit my job. I've also got recordings of you saying that I was lazing around at home, that I have nothing to do, and you basically stalking me, wanting to know my every move. I kept it all as evidence in case I'd need it someday, you see. Well, that time has come. All of that is enough reason to get a divorce, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, don't be like that, Alana. You know how much I love and treasure you, don't you? I fell in love with you the first time I laid eyes on you all that time ago at college. And for the last 15 years, you've been the only one for me. You were always so happy and so full of energy. I'm just a bit disappointed that you've messed all of that up now since you've started staying at home, that's all.
Messed it up? Me? You're the one who has put on weight after eating the food that I prepared for you. It's only been 2.5 months since I quit my job. I haven't changed at all during that time. I don't know what you think I've messed up. Do you know what people call what you're doing to me at the moment? It's gaslighting. That's what it is. You've made me quit the job that I loved and was really good at. Now you're trying to change everything I am and everything I do to be the exact way you want it to be through gaslighting. I'm not as stupid as you think I am, you know.
Alana, I will put off selling your car then. I won't try to make you study either. I just want you to stay at home like you are now and for us to live happily together. Is that too much to ask? Am I being greedy to want that? If you want, I'll even hire someone to help you with the housework and things like that. Everything's fine again now, right?
Fine? Things are far from fine. If I just fall for your sweet talk again, I'd be a fool. You coax me like this by saying all these nice things and promising me the world. Then when the time comes, you totally change your mind and pretty much do the opposite of what you said you'd do. Do you think I don't know that you're just trying to brainwash me? I know for a fact how much more you'd use me and belittle me if I got pregnant and had a child with you. It's obvious to me now. I've had enough of this. I want a divorce. If you don't agree, I'm going to go to your workplace and stick up evidence of how you've been treating me all over the walls for all to see. You mark my words. That's how I managed to get divorced from James. He was so loving and such a good husband for the first 2 years of our marriage, but then changed to someone who tried to keep me as like his prisoner almost, trying to change me into the person that he wanted me to be, doing only what he wanted me to do. I think things started to get a lot worse from when I started refusing to do what he wanted me to do in the bedroom. From that time, he started telling me at every possible opportunity to quit my job and stay at home to support and look after him. I really didn't like that. I decided that I'd try at being a housewife, but I think he just wanted me to himself and wanted me to do what he wanted me to do after chasing me for the 10 years that he did. He seemed extremely satisfied that he'd managed to make me into his perfect girl. If I was nice to him or was doing the housework like other housewives do, he'd stare at me and say something like, "You really never know what life will bring, do you? Whoever would have thought that all these years later you'd be mopping my floor for me?" Just things like that. Seeing him act like that toward me showed me more and more that I couldn't trust him, that I shouldn't trust him. If I had really quit my job and not just requested leave like I did, what would have happened to me? I can't even bear to think about it. I was so grateful to the friend who suggested to me to take leave instead of actually quitting my job. And just looking at James and how he suddenly changed toward me after I quit my job sends shivers down my spine. It wasn't just what he said to me that was the problem, it was how he acted as well. He did things like suddenly saying that he wasn't hungry and throwing his dinner in the sink. I think he was trying to show me that he was in charge and he was superior to me, the girl that did his housework for him. It was really hard for me to put up with all of those requests, especially those that involved our private lives, that he made, especially it seemed, to humiliate me. When we went out together, he treated me as if I was everything to him and like I had everything that I could possibly desire. As this pattern continued, I made the decision that I had to somehow get away from this person. I think all the time and effort he put into getting me and keeping me for 10 years before we got married, and 5 years after, was more of an obsession than it was actually love. I think he was trying to make me surrender and pay for rejecting his love and for being snobby toward him when I was at college, reducing his stress and making me live the rest of my life as the girl that he wanted me to be.
How could you possibly get rid of me and go to a jerk like that?
It's already been years since our divorce. You need to forget me and start a new life with someone else, James.
To me, there's been no one but you. There never has been. I don't need anyone else. Don't marry anyone else, and don't go to that moron.
He is someone who waited quietly for me even after we got married. We only broke up because we were both busy and had things going on in our lives that we had to deal with. I want to live the rest of my life with this man. We depend on each other. You need to let me go now.
What about me? I waited over 10 years for you, and I still really love you. You can depend on me instead.
You don't really love me. You never have. You've just always wanted to conquer me, that's all. If you really love me, you'd let me go.
What can I do to show you how much I love you and how much I need you? What do I have to do to make you believe me?
We're nothing to each other anymore. We're just strangers. You don't need to show me anything, and I don't want to believe or trust you anymore. I'm not going to contact you or answer any of your calls and messages anymore, so please just let me be. You better not turn up at my wedding tomorrow either.
You're cruel right to the end, aren't you? I can't let you go like this. I'm gonna make sure that you never forget me right until your dying day.
He hung up just like that, and the next day, I married my first love, the guy that I dated when I was in high school, and we went on our honeymoon. I didn't see James at the wedding, so I felt quite relieved about that, but a few days after we got back from our honeymoon, I got a call from one of my college friends. He told me that the day before my wedding, James drank himself stupid and drove his car off a cliff. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.